Well, I hope everyone had a ksiva v'chasima toiva, and everyone should have a gemara chasima toiva, a good gebench dior.
I'll tell you next year.
And what? Tell me next Rosh Hashanah.
I'll tell you next year how it went.
So now we're coming to Yom Kippur. So the big question is, why is Rosh Hashanah before Yom Kippur? Right? They ask such a question. Why is Rosh Hashanah before Yom Kippur? Right? It should be that we first achieve kapara and purity, and then tshuva, and then we are mamlich the king. Why are we first mamlich the king, and then we get all purified? Let's start, get purified, and then let's be makabel the melech. Hear the question?
Good question.
So I think the answer is, or an answer is that because really we know, we've been saying for a long time, that the reason Hashem created the world was to have a relationship with us. To have a relationship, to be a dira b'tachtonim, a comfortable abode in this world with us, together, comfortable, loving, and that He have an intimate, direct, loving, personal connection and relationship with each and every one of us, individually, as individuals. And we all know that a relationship is only as good as the willingness and wanting of both members in the relationship to be a part of it. If one doesn't want to really be in the relationship and the other one is constantly coaxing and coercing the other person to be in the relationship, we all know that is not the ideal relationship. That's not much of a relationship at all. And the ideal relationship is one where both want to be as much in the relationship as the other. So to make it that when we're mamlech Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, the avoda of coronating the king on Rosh Hashanah, the Rebbe explains it's basically like the highest avoda in the entire year, because it's connecting to Hashem beyond what we do. It's the ratzon that I have on Rosh Hashanah is for Hashem to be king, period. Hashem, you are the king, period. That's what I want. I don't also want something else. I want Hashem to be king, period. That's the day of coronation. The day of coronation particularly has this heightened and exclusive focus on my will being. I just want Hashem. The rest is details. Yes, I have needs, and my needs, I should connect my needs to my avodas Hashem and to Hashem's plan of delivering His kingdom in the world, and obviously we need physical things in order for that kingdom to be fully manifest, because this is where He wants His kingdom in the world where physical stuff exists, and so therefore we have needs that we need. But the want that we have is for Hashem to be king. We have needs. Okay, I have needs, no. But the want that I have on Rosh Hashanah is for Hashem to be king, and that's it. Everything else, bonus. I mean, whatever. Everything else is irrelevant. The king is the king over me, and that's all I want. And that is beyond doing Torah and mitzvahs. That's beyond doing tshuva. Because tshuva and doing Torah and mitzvahs, we're basically kind of like buttering up to Hashem. We're buttering up. We're doing your Torah, we're doing your mitzvahs, we're doing tshuva. And so it's like we're kind of coming to Hashem like, look at what I'm doing. But Rosh Hashanah is, nothing matters but you being king over me. You're going like right to the Atzmius, says the Rebbe. You're going right to the source of Hashem Himself. You're not on these like external kind of the mitzvahs or tshuva. You're going right to the source and say, I just want you. It's not about the mitzvahs. It's not about tshuva. We don't do tshuva on Rosh Hashanah. It's about just, I want you to be king. I want your will. That's what I want. Your will over me, period.
Well, I'll try to remember that next time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, why didn't you tell us last week?
We did discuss it. We did discuss it 2 weeks ago.
Like
we did
that.
discuss it, rewind the film and review it. We did say this, but maybe it wasn't as clear. And I also sent you a written thing out that also, but you could still
I loved it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
know what you're talking about.
Okay,
It's
fine.
just like,
So print it
I
out, or you
forgot-
could
I
send it to the
forgot.
people. Okay, good. That's all right. So, well, it's also the Yom HaZikaron, so it's also the day to try to remember. But anyway, I didn't make that up. That's the Yom HaZikaron. Okay. So now Yom Kippur, so it would not, if Yom Kippur came and purified us and then we're on Rosh Hashanah, so what's the kunz? Right? If Hashem wipes us all clean and we're like, just got this pure heart and pure everything, and then we come to Rosh Hashanah and we say, oh, we want you to be king. Well, no. I mean, Hashem he just cleansed you. He just did this whole thing for you. He did this whole Rachmanis for you. And now you're going to come closer. Like, what's the great value of the relationship? You don't really want to be in the relationship. When Hashem gives you a Yom Kippur, then you'll be in the relationship. Mazel tov. But how about before Yom Kippur? How about when it's just you, up to you to decide? Do you want to be part of Hashem? Do you want this relationship? Then decide. Oh, then you'll get Yom Kippur. Then Yom Kippur will come and cleanse you. But if Yom Kippur comes first, then it's kind of like Hashem a little bit drugged us, right? He a little bit coerced us into the relationship. It's like giving us $1 million to be part of the relationship, Yom Kippur. Who doesn't want a Yom Kippur to be clean and totally get that kapara? Okay, so you win $1 million. Now be my Valentine for sure. No, let me be your Valentine before. Let me decide I want to be you be my Valentine, and then we'll get Yom Kippur.
You need another metaphor.
Why?
Because of St. Valentine is not something we should have.
Saint Valentine.
Simcha Valentine.
What do they call St. Louis? They call it like
Simcha Louis.
Simcha Louis, right?
Like Simcha Monica.
It's worse than St. Paul.
Well, Louis, you know who Louis was? Russia Marusha. He burned like 30 truckloads of Gemaras. That Louis, that Simcha Louis. Anyway, but St. Louis turned out to be a nice place. Okay, that's where I'm from. All right.
You know the Ghibli's?
No, I haven't been there in 20 years. The Ghibli's? I would have probably remembered that name.
He's a Taimani.
Oh yeah.
He's married.
Oh,
to,
is he like?
Rocco.
Did he work for Cones a lot? Did he
He
work
worked for the takeout.
Yeah,
place.
sure.
There are places for
Mhm, right. I didn't know that was his name.
Living spot.
Sweet guy, big beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever happened to the store?
St. Louis never was never had a store. Never had a kosher supermarket. Never had a kosher restaurant for more than a year or so.
Philadelphia didn't either. There's 400,000 Jews in Philly.
Really? Wow. It's crazy. Yeah. All right.
You know a family named Sass?
Sass
S-A-S-S.
doesn't ring a bell. Okay. Hang on. I took the wrong book. Second. So I want to link it to something in Chovas HaLevavos. Okay. So we're talking about Yom Kippur now, and the Rebbe has something about Yom Kippur I want to talk about, and I want to connect it to something in Chovas HaLevavos because we're still working on trying to really feel how can we get this personal relationship with Hashem.
Just as a total aside,
All right.
and maybe even Baruch might know the answer, but why doesn't Chabad study Ramchal?
Do they have a shita not to study Ramchal?
I don't know. I thought you might know. Like, they don't do that because.
First of all, the Tanya is mevusas on the Ramchal, as well as other Sfarim. If you know what he means in his introduction, as what Sfarim he's pulling from, because he doesn't really say it outright, which Sfarim, they know that Ramchal is one of the sources that he draws from. So the Ramchal is definitely one of the bearers of Hasidus through Jewish thought. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't the Baal Shem Tov, right? It was the Ramchal. And you don't necessarily read the Ramchal and you become a Chassid, but the Chovas HaLevavos, I think, is the same thing. The Chovas HaLevavos also bore
they're big on that.
Yeah, it bore a certain tradition of that eventually expressed itself through Hasidus. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the real, after we realize that everything is Hashem and everything is Hashem, right? There's no other power but Hashem. There's only Hashem, and we're going to His unity, and that's where the goal is, the pleasure of His unity. The really first step is the gate of reflection, Shar Bechina, which is that we need to look into the world and see how we are bombarded constantly with the loving kindness of Hashem and the wonders of the Creator that is keeping me and all of us alive and everything around so amazingly. I mean, as terrible as everything is, it could all be a lot worse. Imagine you're dealing with everything you're dealing with and chas v'shalom, kidney failure or hand cut off. The bus doesn't come on time. I mean, it's the car breaks. Anything, they're all working. When was the last time you said, thank you Hashem for electricity? Thank you Hashem for a mazgan. Thank you Hashem. Thank you Hashem for my shoes. I mean, we said it kind of in the morning.
Rabbi, remember in the old days, Shimmy Green used to say, you should say to your, to the enzymes in your, in your liver, thank you very much, and to your, and to this organ, thank you very much, and thank you very much.
We're so blind to all of the chesed and the shefa, the pure shefa that we are all experiencing and benefiting from every single moment. So the Chovos HaLevavos asks, what is keeping us from seeing this? What is keeping us from being able to investigate and to look and reflect and see and live with this reality? Why do we not do this? Why aren't we doing it? Why don't we see it? Why are we obstinate? He brings 3 reasons in the introduction to this gate, and I'm going to focus on the third reason. The third reason is because we've named Masha might say somebody. Let me just read it over here. The third reason people fail to perceive God's graces. Why do we fail to perceive God's graces? Why are we all kvetching all the time about this, that, and the other thing, and we don't see that 99.9% of everything is working out 100% perfectly all the time? But we focus on the 0.1% of stuff that's not going wrong and not going right. And it's not even not going right. It's just in our head. We're worried it's not going to go right. Everything is fine this moment. This moment, there is no problem. It could be there's a $10,000 debt. Could be there's this issue. There's this prognosis. There's this thing. But right now, we're good. We're totally good. But yet, in our minds, we are miturad. We're bothered. Okay? So why can't we focus on this? Because we fail to perceive God's graces is because misfortune befalls them in this world and harm comes to them in body and property. Because bad things happen to us. Because bad things happen to us, uncomfortable, negative things seem to happen to us, we fail to discern how these serves as means to their ultimate good. We don't see how bad is really good. We just think it's bad. It was really bad that person got sick. It's really bad that person lost their leg. It's really bad that I got sick. Really bad that my car broke down. Really bad that I didn't catch that flight. Really bad that I just everything that is not the way I wanted is bad. And because I interpret it bad and cannot get myself to be willing to believe that maybe it's good. Maybe it's good you missed the flight. Maybe it's good the person got sick. I don't know why, but maybe it's serving a purpose that's for the ultimate good. My inability or unwillingness to contemplate that and to accept that is what's keeping me from being able to perceive all the good. Because it's like I throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because I focus on this 0.1% of things that aren't going my way. And so I basically cut out God from doing anything because it's just, I'm not going to be focused on the good, the 99.9% of everything being perfectly good, because there's this 0.1% of things that are bad. And I'm just not willing to admit that those could be good. People don't appreciate the benefits to be gained from the trial, from the difficulty, from the nisayon, from the difficulty things and the discipline which they provide. As it says, happy is the man who you discipline, O God, whom you teach your Torah. They forget that they owe their own existence and all that belongs to them to the graces which the Creator, in His generosity and love, bestows on them, and that His decrees upon them are just, in accordance with the dictates of His wisdom. They are resentful when His judgments is visited upon them. They do not praise Him when His loving kindness is manifested to them, and their ignorance brings them to deny both the benefits and the benefactor. Ignorance may even bring them, many of them, to assume that they are wiser than God, in the regard to his acts and the various created things which he created for their benefit. How closely we resemble in this regard blind men who are brought to a house prepared for them with everything that could benefit them. Listen to this. Everything in it is arranged perfectly. It is fully equipped and ideally suited to benefit them and provide for their welfare. So imagine you go to this house, everything is stocked, it's beautiful, it's renovated, it's perfect, it's amazing. And and it's like a healing center, and all the different machines and tools and things are there to provide this amazing health experience. Nevertheless, the men and there's something, but there's but the person's blind. They're blind. They're going to this place that's totally stocked and totally able to cure their blindness. Nevertheless, the men neglect to undergo treatment for their eyes and disregard the advice of the physician who has been treating them. They walk about the house, handicapped greatly by their blindness, stumbling over the various things that had been prepared for their benefit, falling on their faces. Some suffer bruises and other broken limbs. They suffer much, and their troubles are compounded. They complain bitterly about the owner and the builder of the house and condemn his actions. In their eyes, he has been neglecting, negligent, and a poor leader, and they believe that his motivation had not been to do them good and to show kindness, but to cause them pain and injury. This leads them to deny the benevolence and kindness of the owner. As the wise one said, even while the fool walks on the road, he has no sense. He says of everyone, he is a fool. He's walking around, bumping into all these machines. He has no idea what he's doing. He thinks it's all bad. And he doesn't realize that he's just bombarded with, and he's surrounded with everything that's for his benefit, but he just interprets it all as bad because the guy's blind. The guy's punch blind. He's not looking. He's not looking. He doesn't know how to use it properly. He's just, it's my way or the highway. I'm not into, I don't see right. This is the way I see it. It hurts. It sucks. It's terrible. Hashem doesn't know what he's doing. So that's what keeps us from being able to see all the good. Now, how is this related to Yom Kippur? Now, we all know that Yom Kippur is Yom Kippurim. That's how it's called in the Torah, Yom Kippurim. So it's a day that's like Purim. It's a day that's like Purim. That means to say that which is better? Purim. Right? Yom Kippur can only be Kippurim. It can only be Kippurim. It can only be like Purim. Halavai could be like Purim. But it's not Purim. It's Yom Kippur. But what does Yom Kippur and Purim have in common? What do Yom Kippur and Purim have in common? They both have this idea of lots, of casting lots, right? We know Purim, Haman cast lots, and it fell on Adar, fell on Yud Gimel Adar, and he threw these lots. When did he throw these lots? When did actually Haman throw the lots? Do you know when he threw the lots? Erev Pesach. He threw them Erev Pesach. While we were doing B'dikas Chametz, he was throwing the lots. Okay.
Thrown? I've never heard thrown.
Casting lots. Cast the lots. Throw the die. Cast lots. I don't know what the right verb there is for lots, but on Purim we also throw lots, right? We have a lot. We have the Seir Lashem and we have the Seir LaAzazel. We have these two goats that we bring up, and the halacha is they have to look identical. They have to look identical. These two goats we put up, the beautiful, amazing, beautiful goats, they look identical. And then there's a girl. There's a lot. There's a lottery. And one of them is now going to be brought into the Kodesh Kodashim, and it's going to be the highest of the high, and it's going to be the ultimate place that any animal can get to, the highest place any animal can possibly achieve, being offered in the Beis HaMikdash, being blood brought into the Kodesh Kodashim. There's no greater, higher destination for an animal's purpose than to be the Seir Lashem. And then the other one turns out to have to go and get this crazy, almost like Avodah Zarah kind of, witch practice of taking it out to the midbar and throwing it off a cliff to this kind of like almost sacrificial, like throwing a virgin into a volcano, to appease the gods. We have to throw this goat off a cliff. Bizarre. And it's a lot. It's a lottery. You don't know which one's which. Where Okay, I want to bring in one other place, and we've mentioned this. We've mentioned this idea before, but it's very deep, and it's worth repeating. There's another place we see lots in the Torah that I think is where we can really see what's going on. And the lots that we see in the Tanakh is that when Yeshua went in to conquer Eretz Yisrael, so they went into Ai, and they made a deal with Hashem. They said, Hashem, you're going to bring us victory, and we are going. I don't know if it was Ai or the deal was made with the city before Ai, but we're going to make a deal that we're going to all the booty we're going to dedicate to Hashem. We're going to donate to the Beis Hamikdash. No one is going to take any of the gold and the booty that we take from the city, and on condition that you'll grant us success. And there was a Yid, Achan, who saw a very beautiful jewelry thing, a gold thing, and he couldn't help himself, and he took it. And the next battle they went to, people died. And so Yeshua said to Hashem, what happened? And Hashem said, somebody broke the promise. Somebody broke the promise and took. And Yeshua said, tell me who it was. And Hashem says, what am I, a tattletale? What am I, a snitch? What do you think I am? So Achan says, well, what am I supposed to do? So Hashem says, cast a lottery. Draw straws. Okay, so we got the straws. Which Shevet? Okay, so someone picked it. Okay, it's this Shevet. Okay, which family? This family. Okay, which Achan? Got Achan, killed him. Okay. Now the question is, wait, Hashem didn't want to be a snitch and rat out Achan because that's not nice. So he said to do the lottery. So what's the lottery? Isn't the lottery just the snitch too? Isn't that also him snitching?
What? Hashem picks it.
What if I say, well, I don't want to be a snitch. I'm not going to be a snitch. Oh, really? Who did it? Well, it wasn't Achan. Like, well, I'm a snitch. Well, how is it not a snitch?
That's not the same as a lottery.
Well, what? Well, they drew a lottery. They drew a lottery.
That's not like this. A lottery is you go and blink your eye.
But it's just another funny way of being able to reveal the
source. It's not your direct hand.
So what?
God says, I don't want to speak Lashon Hara. I'm giving you a way to get it.
Lashon Hara is not if I tell you who it is in a way other than just telling you it's not Lashon Hara. Of course it's Lashon Hara.
He didn't tell you who it is.
He did. He's the lottery. The lottery. Who's running the lottery?
Who's running anything? There's nothing else happening in the world. It's not a good world.
But if Hashem says, I'm not going to tell you because of a schnitz, and you find out some other way, but a lottery particularly, the whole idea of the lottery is Hashem's running the lottery. Like it's not it's not like you just stumble, it was like kind of a mikre, and yeah, of course Hashem is behind everything, but you know what I mean? It's like he found a way that Hashem could tell him without telling him directly. How did that not make Hashem a snitch? Snitch.
You're saying it the Jewish way.
Schnitz?
Yeah.
The schnitz?
Like schnitzel.
So Rav Tzadok explains that, I believe it's Rav Tzadok, he brings this idea maybe by Purim, I'm not sure if he says the thing by Achan, but that where a goyrel is decided, like what part of Hashem is the one who kind of controls goyrel. And he says,
What?
Like, where is the goyrel? Like, Hashem decides goyrel, right?
I don't know that word.
Goyrel is lottery.
Oh.
It also means like destiny. Okay? This lottery. This lot. A goyrel, a purim, a goyrel. They cast lots. You throw the die. Where is the source of when what falls, how the chips land, how the die land, how the lotteries fall? What controls that? What controls that goyrel, that this is Azazel and this is Lashem, right?
The angel of lotteries.
No, it's a place of Hashem, of the Godhead of Hashem, it's called the Reisha de lo Yada, the head of Hashem that's not known b'chlal. It's this very, very sublime element of Hashem, like very, very sublime, that goes way beyond the Seder Hishtalshalos, right? The Seder Hishtalshalos we know is how the mechanism that Hashem created the world with in order for all these tzimtzumim, for his light to be refracted and refracted and refracted until we can live in this physical world and tell ourselves that Hashem doesn't exist, and live our whole lives that way. it's such a thing, even though everything's Hashem, even though everything's our Hashem, like we still can be blind. So this whole Seder Shtalshus, this whole project, what's deciding the lots is an energy that's coming from outside of that, higher than the Seder Shtalshus, higher, and that place is a place that is beyond good and bad. There's no good and bad at that place. Good and bad are things that are on a lower level. These good and bad. Oh, this is morally good or this is morally bad. Who says? Who said? Hashem said this is what I want you to do and this is what I don't want you to do. Could Hashem have said, I want you to cut your fingernails every Tuesday? He could have said that. Then that would have been good. Could he say, so he said, don't eat milk and meat. So let's say he said, eat apples and honey. Great. Like, well, who cares? Apples and honey, dates and honey, turkey and honey, who cares? Hashem said, this is what I want you to do. But there's something that's beyond, that it's not, this is intrinsically good or this is intrinsically bad. This is Hashem, what he wants to happen. But there's a beyond good and bad. There's Hashem, where Hashem is, where it's beyond right and wrong. And on Yom Kippur, first before we go back to Yom Kippur, where the lottery is coming from and is saying that Achan did it, is not saying Achan did anything bad. He's not tattletaling because the lottery is coming from a place that doesn't judge. It doesn't judge good and bad. Machpatli, good, bad, stealing, not stealing. It's beyond that. It's higher than those good and bad. It's beyond that. And therefore it's not saying Achan did something bad, I'm tattletaling on him. Achan was the one who took the thing. That's it. That's the Metzias. That's the reality. He took that thing. He's saying he did a bad thing. No, he's not saying he did a bad thing. He's just saying he took it. That's where the koyach of the lottery comes from. When it says this is the sir la'azazel and this is the sir l'Hashem, is it saying this sir is good and this sir is bad? No. It's not saying this sir is good and this sir is bad. It's saying this is what it is. This is what it is. Don't think, this goat must be the good goat. The girl told you which is the good goat, and the girl told you which is the bad goat. This girl's decision is not coming from a place of good or bad. It's just what is. It's just what is. This goes to the base of Mikdash, and this goes to the midbar off the cliff. It's not because there's something good about this or bad about that. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. Obviously, our experiences, we want to throw our lot with the sheep that goes into the base of Mikdash and not gets chucked off the cliff. But from Hashem's perspective, he's not saying this is good and this is bad. The whole idea of lottery comes from a place that's beyond good and bad. And what do we say on Purim? What do we just happen to say on Purim? We have to get so drunk that what? Adol Yada what? We can't tell the difference between our Haman and Baruch Mordechai. We can't tell who's good, who's bad. I can't tell the difference. Who's good, who's bad? Is Haman good? Is Haman bad? Is Mordechai good? Is Mordechai bad? I have to get so drunk. I'm not even in this good bad zone. It's beyond good bad. Higher than good bad. That is what this idea is. This girl, Yom Kippur, we see it by the sheeps, by Purim, Haman through the lots, and we say Adelo Yada. We don't know whether it's Baruch Mordechai or Haman. We lose. We kind of cut off. We kind of silence that consciousness of good, bad. Oh, who's good? Who's bad? It's beyond that. It's mamish beyond that. There's almost like not that Hashem is playing craps with the world or playing like die with the world, but it's like we never know what is good for us. Is the bad, is the good for us? Maybe the bad's good for us. October 7th. Terrible. Terrible. How much good came from October 7th? How much?
Too much.
What? You say not too much?
I don't think so.
Oh, I very much disagree.
Okay, good.
Am Yisrael is misached. We are united in a way that I don't think we've ever seen in our entire history in Gullus.
I'd rather have all the people back.
You'd rather have all the people back and all the fighting. All the fighting. Okay, good. But to say that why? Oh, you like the Iron Dome?
Yes.
You like the Iron Dome. That's amazing ingenuity, right? Amazing ingenuity. Do you know why there's such an ingenuity like that? Do you know why? Because we have enemies. So maybe those enemies are good because so much ingenuity came out from that. So much ingenuity.
It's like anything. Thank God for polio, because we didn't have polio, we wouldn't have had what's his face's vaccine.
Yes.
Jonas Salk's vaccine. We could look at anything like that.
Well, but we see that so we see that there is benefit from bad. We see that there's benefit from bad. We see that there's benefit from bad. We look at something as bad. And it could be tremendously good. Haman, right? It said, the Gemara in Megillah says that when Achashverosh gave his ring to Haman, it created more tshuva than all of the 24 Nevi'im ever did in Klal Yisrael. Just giving over that ring to Haman. So he's saying that's bad or it's good? It's bad or it's good?
Good.
It's good. Who's to say this is bad and this is good? Who is to say this is bad and this is
I
good?
told you the Rebbe used to say that, that even though people get blasted out of their brains on New Year's Eve, January 1st, he says, but they're doing tshuva, so it's, there's something about January 1st that's good.
Because they're committing to a new year or New Year's resolutions. Yeah.
I didn't make it up.
Yeah.
So Yom Kippur, what the Rebbe explains, what is the kapara of Yom Kippur? Where is the kapara of Yom Kippur coming from? There's a machlokas in the Gemara between Rebbe and Chachamim about whether Yom Kippur achieves kapara even without doing anything. Sleeping in bed all day. The koyach of the day itself is mechaper even without our participation. And I think Rebbe goes so far as to say that even if a person is like, I think the person has to actually keep Yom Kippur, but they don't have to do tshuva, they don't have to do anything, or even... Anyway, we don't hold like Rebbe, but the idea that the day of Yom Kippur itself has this power to be mechaper, what is that coming from? Where is that kapara coming from? The kapara is coming from because on Yom Kippur, this place, this very sublime, high place of Hashem is revealed. This place beyond good and bad. And this is the place where we are connected to Hashem. The Jewish people are connected to Hashem in a very, very fundamental place that is this place that transcends good and bad. And so when Hashem reveals that the root of our relationship and connection with Him is in a place that does not consider good and bad, and therefore can never be damaged by bad or helped by good, then that revelation, that light of the purity of that connection that we have with Him, that transcends anything we do to do good or to do bad, either way, transcends that connection. That connection is kilu. It's like it's intrinsic. It's an intrinsic connection. It can't be affected by our bad deeds. It can't be affected by our good deeds. It is an intrinsic connection that transcends good and bad. That it transcends right or wrong. It transcends all of that. It's much more intrinsic. And that light is revealed, and that is what grants the kapara to us. So the kapara is almost like a passive. The way the Rebbe explains it, it seems like it's almost a passive kind of washing of, or the light is so pure that when that light shines on us, it just dissolves the bad. This whatever we thought was breaking our relationship, we actually see that the nature of our connection and relationship is completely undamageable, unbreakable, undisturbable, and that grants kapara for our temporary slips and infractions. Okay? Any questions?
I think in what we read on the Yom Kippur, it says that the day is Kippur.
Yeah.
It actually says it.
Yes. And so that's what's going on that day. That is what's being revealed on that day. And so it's very matim that we have an inyan of girl on that day. We have an inyan of the lottery. We have this idea of this lottery taking place on this day. We have two things. They look identical. One's going to the highest of the high and one's going to the lowest of the low. And that is in our consciousness, we don't say, oh, that sheep is good and that sheep is bad. That sheep is good, that's why it's going to the base of Mikdash. And that sheep is bad, and that's why it's going Sir La'azazel. We have no idea. The place that decided that sheep goes there and that sheep goes there is beyond good and bad. Yeah.
What's up with doing?
What?
What are we doing? What was the doing? These are not chess.
Well, we want to make sure we do tshuva properly. We want to make sure we do tshuva.
But according to the view that you just said, we don't have to do that.
Well, we don't have to do that We don't necessarily.
That maybe Yom Kippur just because we're Jews and this is Yom Kippur.
As long as we are honoring the day, as long as we are showing up in Yom Kippur is machaper. Whether we hit this many times or that many times or whatever, even if we fall and we don't get to do it at all, Yom Kippur works. It doesn't mean that we have to be good enough for Yom Kippur to work. As long as we show up.
There are only two things we can't do. We can't eat. I mean,
There are five things we can't do.
Okay, but I'm saying, but what the Torah only mentions two. The ini temet.
Well, inui.
Yes.
Yeah, that includes several
Fine,
things.
That's the heading, right? And the kol melechad avodah.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
work.
Okay, so as long as we follow that, you're good. You're good. The Yom itself is machaper. The Yom itself provides atonement. As long as you're just holding by the day,
Is that not true also of Rosh Hashanah?
Rosh Hashanah is something that we do. Rosh Hashanah is something that we are doing. We are Mamlech Hashem. That requires a more active, involved role.
However, at the end of the day, at the end of the 2
Hashem
days,
is the one who writes the
at the
dib.
end of at the end of the 2 days, isn't it happening whether you are proactive or not?
Oh yeah, I mean the din of the year is happening. The din of the year is
That's all I was
happening.
saying.
Oh yeah, the din of the year is happening. But the mamluch, the hamlacha, the kingship, the coronation of Hashem is what we are responsible for. That's where we have the opportunity to do that. We could do it any day. But the day that Hashem is deciding what will be for the whole year, that's the day we want to do it. The day that Hashem is deciding what's going to be for the whole year, that's the day we want to say, Hashem, you are king. It's your will is the best. That's all I want. And that is what we do when Hashem is deciding what's coming the year. Because really what the ultimate decision that we want to happen this coming year is what?
Hashem's decision.
What?
Hashem's decision.
Yes, but what do we want Hashem's decision to be this year? Geula. We want Geula. We want Hashem to reveal Himself. We want Hashem to be visible. We want Hashem we want this relationship. We want this relationship to come to fruition. Enough with the hiding. We want you. And that's what all the davening is about. All the davening, except in Sanatokef. All the davening is about, Hashem, please come be with us. Remember, let's do this. because that is what is the most, that's, Rosh Hashanah was created in order to get Geula. Why did Hashem create the whole world? First of all, Hashem did not create the world on Rosh Hashanah. Kaf Hey is when Hashem created the world. What's Aleph Tishrei? What did Hashem create on Aleph Tishrei? Our heart. Us. Our heart. This is where Hashem wants to live. This is where He wants to live. He wants to live here, in us, with us. That's what we want. We want you to live here with us. Okay, I want a few shekels. Okay, but just so I can give some tzedakah, so I can get my wife a nice gift, so I can put food on the Shabbos table and make it beautiful. Your mitzvahs. That's what I want. I want you. You're deciding what's going to be the world. You know what I want? You. I want you.
Got one thing, babe.
So when we say, I want you, then we get Yom Kippur. Then Yom Kippur comes. When we declare what we want, that we want Hashem, that we want Him in this world, we want Him revealed, we want to be part of the relationship, then Yom Kippur reveals that the relationship transcends anything we could do that's good and bad. And when we come on Rosh Hashanah, we could be the biggest Rasha. But we come and we say, Hashem, I just want you to be king. I just want you to be king. Your will. I realize whatever confusion I have, whatever it is, I know that your will is really, really the best. That's what the best is you to be king. Your kingship to be revealed over the whole world. That's what the best is. And Hashem says, you know what? That's what our relationship is about. Beyond good and evil, beyond giving me, like manipulating me with your mitzvahs and trying to get on my good side by being sycophantic, and doing mitzvahs and doing tshuva like you want to get on my good side. You want you. We want you, Hashem. Mitzvahs, tshuva. We want you. I don't want to just get on your good side.
That's interesting. It's interesting because there are no mitzvahs other than it's Yom Teruah. So it's not like you got to this and this and this and this and this and this in order to show what a good guy you are. Nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with mitzvahs.
That's right. And Yom Kippur is kind of the final revelation of that here is the relationship. The relationship, the revelation of the connection, the relationship, the revelation of the intrinsic existence of our relationship that goes beyond what we do, good and bad, is what grants that atonement and what grants that kapara. And so we need to realize that we are blind. We think bad things happen to us, and we think they're bad. And we can't imagine that they're good. So if we really want to do tshuva this Yom Kippur, let's take a couple things that were not so comfortable for us in our lives that happened, that we have previously, up till now, judged as, that was bad. That was really bad, Hashem. Wow. And let's say, you know what? I don't know what is bad. I don't know what is bad. I don't. Obviously, I shouldn't do Averis. That I know is not right. But when things happen, and also when I do bad things, I did it already, right? It's already done. It's not about, when I do this, but I need to realize, Hashem, I have no idea what was bad and what was good. October 7th was horrible, a horrible massacre, a horrible tragedy. And yet, we see that there is such tremendous inspiration and achdus and in islavus and love and coming together that would not have happened without it. That the Holocaust is the worst of the worst of the worst, and yet there probably would not be Eretz Yisrael and Medinat Yisrael without the Holocaust. The koyach
But is it worth it?
of the schus. Who do you want to delegate that decision to? Would you like to make that decision? Do you want to be in charge of those decisions, Ronnie? I don't think you do. I don't think you want to be in charge of I don't even
No,
think the
it's
decisions
all-
you are in charge
it's
of you
all
really want to be in charge of.
It's all retrospective. It's just, it just.
The point is that we want a personal relationship with Hashem. We want to see that everything that is happening in the world to us is from Hashem. We want to experience the tovos and the niflos and the chesed that Hashem is doing for us every single moment. We want to live like that. We want to live that Hashem is giving me non-stop. We want to experience that. We want to experience that His relationship with us is total and is in every place in our life. He's here. There's no getting away from it. We either acknowledge it or we don't acknowledge it, but the truth is the same. So why don't we want to live in that? Because the bed, I think I can handle this. I think I know what I need better than Hashem. I think I can do a better job. Thank you, Hashem, but I see how you've done. I see the job you've done up to now, and I think I can do better. That's what we say. That's basically what we say. Last year I broke my ankle. This year I don't think I'm not gonna go with you on the foot care because I see what happened. I broke my ankle, right? It wasn't my, So I think I tell myself that I know what's better. I know what's good. And you know what, Hashem, thank you, but I prefer my way. You know how scholars, like Yud K Vav K, that name. You know how it's pronounced in academia. You don't have to say it, but it's like spelled YAWEH. Okay, YAWEH. Okay, so it's either my way or
His way.
Your way.
His way.
Okay, I didn't make that up. David Chaim Hoffman, if you know David Chaim. You know David Chaim?
No.
Well,
Okay.
it's also
He's from
the
Texas.
2,000-year-old man.
What?
It's also from the 2,000-year-old man, which was a record that was recorded.
No, but the fact that the Yud K Vav K sounds so much like your way.
Yeah.
That's from the 2,000-year-old man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
1962.
For Yud K Vav K?
I'll find it.
Okay, wow. All right. So maybe that's what he was saying.
Remember plus 10.
All right. So that's
I would almost.
So that's I hope these ideas kind of can coalesce a little bit in our minds, that we can kind of suspend reality a little bit, like we do on Purim. We suspend reality and we say the good, the bad. I don't know, Baruch Mordechai Ar Haman. I don't know what's what. On Yom Kippur, we're trying to get to that place. You're telling me listen. You're telling me to do this. You're telling me don't do this. You're telling me there's good. You're telling me there's bad. But at the end of the day, my mind to be able to grasp what really is good and what really is bad I'm basically incompetent. I cannot do it. I can tell you, you put a mitzvah in front of me, you put a ve'er in front of me, I'll tell you the mitzvah is good, the aveir is bad. And I'm right. But when things happen to me or things happen to other people, things happen in the world, I can't just say, this is bad or this is good. Just like I can't say that seer is good and that seer is bad. Oh, Hashem knew that seer needed to go to Azazel. Oh, that seer, what that seer did, he's got to go to Azazel. It's a girl. It's a lottery. It's a crapshoot in a certain sense. Why were the Jews and the Amaleks of the Amaleks? Hashem chose the Jewish bodies to put the neshama in. He didn't choose the Amaleks to put the neshama in. He chose the Jewish body. Is there a reason? Did he have a rhyme or reason why he chose the Jewish body, the Jewish bodies to put the neshama in, to put the Jewish neshama in, and not the Amalek bodies to put the neshamas in? Is there a reason? No, there is no reason. The Rebbe says this multiple times, that the choice that Hashem had to choose the Jewish people, that means our bodies, right? Our neshamas are from Hashem. But the goof, to put the neshama in our goof, in the body of a yid, which is no different than a body of a non-Jew, right? You look at an autopsy, you do an MRI, it's the same body. It's the same body, but he decided the Jewish body gets the neshama lokis. Why? It was a free will decision. Hashem had a Bechira Chofshis to decide it was the Jewish body. And you know what a Bechira Chofshis means? It means there's no reason. No reason. Because if there's a reason, then it's no longer a free will decision. Because if Jewish bodies are somehow more superior, then of course that's why Hashem chose the Jewish bodies, because they're superior. So it's not a free will choice, because the body is patently superior. So that's not the case. There is nothing about the Jewish body that Hashem wants to choose that makes it superior over any other group's body. And Hashem chose it just because. Why did he choose us? It's a bit of a lottery. And we just have to understand that things are a bit of a lottery, and we are not good at perceiving things that are negative to happen to us as good, and that's where we need to go to. The ideal is that a person insults us and a person compliments us, and we take it the exact same. That's the ideal. That is the ideal state of a yid. That a person can give you $1 million, a person can spit on you, and you're like, okay, Hashem. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's good. There's a story from another faith tradition that goes like this idea of equanimity. That there's a farmer and his son, and they find this wild horse, and they're so happy they found this horse, and the guy's like, if it's okay, it's good. If it's good, and then the horse is riding with the son, and he chucks the son off, and the son breaks his legs, and he's like, okay, so, and then the army is coming through and drafting people, and his son is putter now because he broke his legs, and so they don't take him, and so he's like, okay, and then the typhoid and whatever, and kills his son, whatever. It's just like, we don't know what's good. We don't know. Everything is good for us. If it's happening to us, then it's good for us. We need to suspend our judgments of, what's good, what's not good. We don't know. And it could be the worst thing that we thought happened to us. We're going to get to Shemayim, and we're going to see I would thank God that happened. And we have to know that everything that happens in our lives, we are agreeing to it before we come into this world. We agree to it. We see the whole story, we see the whole script, and we say, I'll do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through with that. So we're masking. We're agreed. Our neshama agrees to what we go through. So we just have to know, when we come to Yom Kippur, what I thought was so bad, Hashem, I really don't know. I know it's for my good. We can't get drunk on Yom Kippur, okay? We can't get drunk on Yom Kippur. So in order to do this, we have to be in the holiest of holiest places. Otherwise, we could just get drunk, and that's the highest. To really add the lo yad.
In 2002, Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
I was in shul all day.
All right.
Not something strange about that. I had one account that I sold to that I was doing $6 million a year with.
Wow.
Big account. And when I got back after Yom Kippur, went into my office, I had all these messages on my phone. And it was all the manufacturers that I was selling to this company. They had called them on Yom Kippur and said, we're no longer doing business with David. We want his commission added to our discount, and we're going to work with you directly. So they cut out, I was the middleman, and they just cut me out. On Yom Kippur, lost $6 million, like that. And my wife and I both looked at each other after we digested this news. We both had the same sense that it saved us from something even worse. But don't know what that might have been. But anyway, had that not happened, I wouldn't be here today.
Well, even if it didn't save you from anything worse, it propelled you to something so much better.
Yeah.
We never know. Financial tsaros is the best. It's the best. We'd rather have financial tsaros. We pay a parking ticket rather than paying a doctor's bill. That's for sure.
Story is simple.
Amazing. So we can all look back in our lives, and that's the best way to do it. To look back in our lives and see those things that we originally looked at as very uncomfortable and we wish wouldn't have happened, and we see how they shaped our lives that we would never have wished for it to happen otherwise. And that's exactly the point. And that's what we need to see. And that's what we need to see on a daily basis. And we need to, when we're not going to be able to see the amazing shefa, bracha, chesed that Hashem does for us every single moment, unless we're willing to suspend disbelief about the negative things and the uncomfortable things and the difficult things that we bear. If we can't be willing to say, this, I have no idea why this happened, but it's good. It's good no matter how it feels, how it looks. I know it's good. Hashem, I know this is, you're doing it for the best, and it's you who's doing it. It's you doing it, and it's for the good, even though I don't understand why, I don't understand how. I know it will be the Chovos Halevavos says, when we accept a difficulty in that mindset, we are promised that we will see the good from it. And obviously you did. You accepted it b'ratzon, you accepted it ba'ava as much as you could, and you see the good. You see how the good came from it. You don't know necessarily what it saved you from, but you see where it propelled you. And so that is the promise. Whenever we accept anything difficult, uncomfortable, we have a promise from the Chovos Halevavos that we will see the good from it. We will see the good come from it. And we can start with the easiest things, Right? You're trying to take out 5 shekel and only 1 shekel comes out. Oh, Hashem, this is so good. I don't know how, but this is so good. The traffic, the person in line in front of you is taking forever. And you're saying, Hashem, this is perfect. I don't know why. I've got an appointment, but this is perfect. I don't know why, but I know. I know that I have to get to where I'm going only exactly when you want me to be there. And if you have to hold me up in this line because the perfect time for me to get where I'm going is then, I don't understand what's going on, but you run the world and I love it. You run the world and I love it. That's Rosh Hashanah. You run the world and I love it. I love it. And Yom Kippur says, Enachanami, exactly. I run the world and it's all good. It's beyond our understanding of good and bad. Beyond. Ashreinu, Matov Chelkeinu, that we are Yidden, that we have the Torah, that we have the opportunity to learn the Torah, and we have these yontifs, we have these holidays to come closer to Hashem. Mirz Hashem will all be signed and sealed in the book of life, and see Geula Shlema, and Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'mheira, Achshav.
Does that become a tachlis for the creation and for us being here, that according to what you said right now, God didn't do it for any reason?
He wants a dira b'tachtonim. He wants a comfortable abode here with us. We don't know why he wanted that, but he wanted it. It says Hashem was mis'ave. He had a taiva. He had a taiva for this dira b'tachtonim. He had a taiva for this abode in the lower world. And on taivas, on desires, we can't ask questions. You have a taiva for something? You want chocolate cake? You can't ask quite why. It tastes good. What do you mean why? Why? That's what I like. So well, somebody likes this, somebody likes that. Yes, why? Because when you were 2 years old, you don't know why. It's a desire. It's beyond the mind. So when Hashem created the world, he created because he had a desire. You can't ask why. It's a desire. It's beyond reason. So we have to a little bit suspend our rationale here. And know that our brain is not where the connection of Hashem is happening, because we don't get it. It's here that the connection is happening. And Rosh Hashanah is our chance to reveal and open our hearts and say, this is what I want. I want you. I want this. And Yom Kippur, he reveals that to us and says, yes, it's all good. It's beyond what we think of as right and wrong. It's all good. It's all good. Even though we may not understand it. But our heart, we have to believe. We have to believe, and that belief in our head is in order to get into our heart. But our heart is what tells our brain what to believe. Okay? Maybe we'll talk about this next time or something like that. But our head is not the place of relationship. Our heart is the place of relationship. But the head, we need to say words. We need to use our brain to say, Hashem, this is good. Even though I don't understand, this is good. My brain needs to tell my mouth to say that. But my brain will not tell my mouth to say that unless my heart gives permission to my brain to say that. And if I'm so hurt, and if I'm so angry, and if I'm so upset, then I won't tell my brain to say such a thing. So I have to decide that I'm willing to suspend what I think and get over what I feel and trust that it's all good and tell my brain to start telling me, look at all this amazing stuff that we have every single moment. Look how this is all working, how many billions of things are working right now perfectly. My heart has to give my brain permission to work on that. And so, Mirz Hashem, we should be strengthened, and especially with the latest events in Jewish history, we can be ever more inspired and strengthened that Hashem is with us and that He's delivering us, and we should see the final deliverance soon.